Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the StepUP closing event of today. We will be presenting and discussing solutions and technologies for deep energy renovation processes uptake. Let me show the agenda. Um, the, uh, the event will host a few sessions where we will be presenting, getting questions, and hopefully having good discussions around certain topics. After this session, we will have a first session where we will be presenting digital tools supporting the retrofitting processes. We will afterwards, around 12:15, have a second session where we will be presenting plug and play technologies, and afterwards, around 1:15, we will have a third session where the pilot projects of the StepUp project will be presented. And finally, around 2 o'clock, we hope to come back to you with key takeaways and final conclusions. Maybe one very practical thing. You can download the agenda by clicking the download agenda. All the questions, you can put them into, you can select the speaker and ask your questions. And after that, the speakers have presented, we will have like a session of 10 to 15 minutes where we will be answering and having the discussions around the questions that you put into the chat box. Now, the first presenter is going to be Giulia Barbano. In the agenda, we mentioned Amisha Panchal, but unfortunately she can't be here today. So she is replaced by Giulia Barbano. Giulia is going to talk about the StepUP overview. And Giulia is an R&D operations manager at IES, Integrated Environmental Solutions. She has over 15 years of experience in EU-funded research and development project as coordinator and technical leader. She has worked on all scales of the built environment, from sustainability of construction materials to buildings to decarbonizing networks and cities. So, Giulia, please go ahead.
Thank you, Miguel. Okay, thank you, Miguel, for the introduction. And I am pleased to open this closing event for StepUP. I will provide you with an overview of the project and its, in particular, the main results that we have achieved. As Miguel mentioned, I am here on behalf of Amisha. I bring her excuses. I have left her name on the presentation because she has prepared this presentation, so it's only fair to keep the honor where it lays. But I am well familiar with the project, so I will guide you through now. Now, the concept of the StepUP project is to, at the core, deliver iterative, holistic, whole building renovation that puts the stakeholders at the center. To do this, we have developed a methodology that has roots in data intelligence, and the final objective is affordable deep renovation to the EU market and help reach decarbonization in European buildings. So everything that you will see today at the core has this methodology, this renovation methodology that is incremental, iterative, and intends to cover every phase of the renovation process and to make each step more effective. So we look to improve renovation holistically over the whole life cycle of renovation. And you will see something more about this later, presented by Melinda. Now, then the key objectives of the project are 5, and they will translate they have translated in everything we have done in the project. The first one, the overarching one, is to make renovation a more attractive and reliable endeavor. So, and to do this, we base our work on the methodology and use near real-time data intelligence to do so. We wanted to reduce the performance gap, so that difference between the design and operations energy demand. And to do this, we have developed a lifecycle software platform that supports the analysis and modeling of the energy performance. And we want to optimize renovation investments so that the financing models for renovation to optimize energy in an integrated way are innovative and novel and can actually, well, address this big challenge. Then we wanted to minimize the time on site, which is an important topic in renovation, to work with passive and active technologies that are modular and can be collected together, connected through renovation package of plug and play technologies, what we call plug and play technologies. And finally, we intended to accelerate the renovation market by developing a protocol for interoperability of renovation solutions. The intent was to make sure that the StepUP solutions would be compatible with third-party market products, so that our plug-and-play approach is actually open and accessible to in particular, innovative SME in the sector. So what this translated to in practice was the development and advancement of 4 solutions. We have two hardware or technical solutions. We have a plug-and-play envelope system, so a passive solution, and an active solution for heating, a flexible heating solution. Then in the processes and software tools, we had developed innovative financing tools for deep renovation and software tools and a platform for data collection. So to go through these quickly, the plug-and-play modular facade, which you see here installed in one of the pilots. Now, this started from existing production of sandwich panels, ventilated facades, yeah? And the partner who's been working on this, Manny, who has an extensive expertise in light steel frame structures, and had found a place to develop the innovation of combining these 2 solutions that which had not been studied before. So the new envelope that you can see here uses a structure that Manny provided. It can be easily attached to existing slabs of the building, and it does not affect the structural balance. So the solution developed by Manny for StepUP, this plug-and-play modular facade, is highly customized plug-and-play modules that are industrial produced, right? And it has 2 main elements. One is the anchoring system, and then the modular systems are the light steel frame structure, the thermal insulating sandwich panels, and the external finishing layer. And the anchoring in particular has been deeply developed in the project to ensure a solution that allows horizontal and vertical movement of the panels and the adjustment in the direction and orientation of the facade, right? And also it allows to include in the facade monitoring systems, electrical system, and thermal system. So it is a full solution for facade renovation. Then the other hardware solution is the plug-and-play active system. This is an integrated solution for heating. It utilizes the innovative 3D phase change material storage developed by our partner Heat Ventors. And then it utilizes commercially existing hardware, PV panels, heat pumps, and so on. And then on top of it, there's an advanced control optimization logic. Now, the heat tank is a very innovative product that has really, it's really functional for small spaces. It's really high energy efficiency and a very quick return on investment. And it is safe because the PCM material is bio-based, can be easily installed by a plumber. And then the logic developed in the project helps optimize the operation of the tank and the building. So this is this integrated solution, and the integration itself and the application is what we worked on in the project. And in particular, what we focused on was the ease of installation, the data intelligence. So in general, looking at, again, making the renovation an easier proposition, a more affordable and more accessible approach. Then when I mentioned before that we have that we had a plug-and-play protocol approach, that means that we sought to integrate passive and active systems in the facade, in the plug-and-play module, for example. So that means that we can add optionally third-party elements. So the technology is flexible to the integration of third-party provided technology. In particular, we've worked in the project with Grad Hermetic, who's not a partner project, but a provider, a technology provider, a partner, who has provided foldable and adjustable blinds. So these are slats that can be oriented from 0 to 115 degrees, moved up and down, and closing completely the window, and so on. Now, these solutions that we have tested can be pre-assembled in the facade before it is actually installed in the building. So the module can be done with or without windows, depending on the requirements of the specific renovation project. So it's a highly flexible approach. Then we have developed a whole life cycle platform of software solutions. We are utilizing a vast suite of digital tools that follow along the steps of the methodology. They are brought together in a portal for project management. So in this slide, you can see the mapping of the various renovation phases. So we go from feasibility to preparation to design, implementation, and operation phase. Are all interconnected through this portal that allows to manage the overall process. And then different tools, solutions, software are accessible to different stakeholders in these phases. So we will present this more later. But just to give you an overarching view of the software tools and the data intelligence, here you have a few examples and on the different tools that were developed for very different purposes. As you can imagine, a methodology that broad and with so many phases requires different levels of resolutions. So, for example, you can see here the top left, this is a dashboard. It's in Hungarian because it was in the Hungarian pilot. It helps users to vote on thermal comfort, and this is coupled with the detailed, calibrated physics-based baseline model, the one you can see here in the bottom right. So that had the accurate prediction of the indoor conditions. So we could use this to predict the comfort in the space based on the references of the users, in this case, are the teachers. Apologies. The teachers in the kindergarten. Now, you can see here this data, really high detailed resolution of data coming in from the buildings, which was utilized to do fault detection. So, for example, detecting issues like high CO2 concentration levels, so for air quality, and what were the, and provide some insights on this fault that was detected and what was going on in the building. And this is very room and building level insights, but the software developed and utilized in the project also allows us to look at the full district level. So this is like the whole municipality of Budapest 18, so all the buildings in the municipality. And this model is currently being validated to provide this guidance in the feasibility phase on energy conservation measures to the municipality. Now, then the fourth pillar is the innovative financing tools for deep renovation, Smart EPC. So this was something developed further in the project, but I'm not going to give away too much in this yet because I'm conscious of time, and I will stop here and then you will have a more detailed presentation on this later. In conclusion, again, you will also see this later. Just want to mention the pilots where we have tested our solutions on. So I mentioned before already the kindergarten Zolliget in Budapest. Then we have done extensive testing in Pamplona. So with the Monasterio de Urtaxen, which is a multi-family residential building, was one of the virtual pilots, and it is connected to the facilities in the Universidad de Navarra. And then we utilize the warehouse of ASR, one of our project partners, for active testing of the active solution. And then another virtual pilot is IES's Helix building, our headquarters in Glasgow. So on all of these, you will hear more in the following session. And that is it. Thank you.
Our second speaker of this session is Melinda Rova. Melinda will present the StepUP holistic methodology for affordable, reliable, deep building renovations. Melinda is a Master of Science, architect and building engineer, and is energy efficient building design consultant at ABUD. ABUD stands for Advanced Building and Urban Design. Melinda's actively involved in R&D projects and LEED and WELL building certification. She has led and participated in several renovation-focused EU research projects with responsibilities covering project management, decision-making methodology development, demonstration project coordination, tool testing, and user engagement activities. So Melinda, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Miguel, for the introduction. So in my presentation, I will show you the holistic methodology for affordable and reliable building renovations that we developed in our project. This methodology was developed to integrate all the tools and technologies, guidelines that we have developed throughout the project to help achieve energy renovations. In my presentation, I will start with showing what was the process behind the development of this methodology, and then I will shortly introduce how, in what type of buildings, on what scope we can use this methodology, and then go into detail about the different project phases, what we developed, and how the different tools, technologies, and guidelines can support these project phases. So before starting starting the step-by-step definition of the renovation process, we did extensive research on the background of current renovation processes. We identified the financial, technical, and social challenges of deep energy renovations that are currently affecting the market. And based on that, we also developed or defined our objectives on the lines of what we want to achieve with the methodology. This was already mentioned by Julia in the previous presentation. And then, of course, we had to set our scopes and limitations for the methodology. When we defined our background, we started identifying the renovation phases and their main goals, what kind of inputs the different phases need, what outputs they will provide, and how long does it take to achieve each phase, and then how the process what are the processes during each renovation phase. And to break down the renovation phases into much more detail, we identified each actions that needs to be taken to achieve the identified goals, and we connected them to the different stakeholders in a renovation process. We identified the tools and the methods that needs to be taken to achieve the actions. And when we have developed the first version of the methodology, we also used a validation process to see if it works in reality as well. So the methodology was presented in different phases, and also it was demonstrated through the pilot project as well. As I mentioned, we set the scope of the StepUP renovation methodology. In our objectives, we defined the building types where our methodology fits the most. These are the multifamily residential buildings, public non-residential buildings, and rental private offices. These building types, while not covering all the total building stock of the EU, but still represent a large section of the existing building stock. And these building types have specific stakeholders who are involved in the day-to-day operation of the buildings, and also who usually are involved in the renovation processes. So we defined the stakeholders as well, and to actually gain the most from the StepUP renovation methodology, the methodology was optimized to industrialized renovation solutions, especially the two technologies that was developed in the project, the plug-and-play envelope modules and the active system, but also several technological and operational energy conservation measures can be implemented and supported by the methodology. During the development process, we also defined the key performance indicators for the project, which can help measure the performance of the renovation actions. Here we we first identified the main benefits of using industrialized technologies, and then translated them to indicators, and focusing on not just using energy related indicators, but also to cover other non-energy related targets as well. So we have environmental, financial and social indicators together, and which are specific to deep energy renovation actions. And after we set the scopes and limitations of the methodology, we defined the different renovation phases. We identified 6 renovation phases, and also, we identified that the core concept of the StepUP project is the iterative approach towards renovations, and which means that the energy conservation measures are deployed in a cyclical way, and deployed incrementally, and this iterative approach helps us to collect data throughout the process and optimize the building use and performance continuously by getting to know the building use better in each renovation cycle. Also, it helps us to support the optimal behavior of occupants, as through several cycles it can be changed to work in an optimal way. Also, the iterative way of the methodology can also help phase out the upfront costs of the renovation actions as well. And each phase is supported by the different tools and technologies and guidelines that we have developed throughout the project. One of several of these guidelines are following the project phases from start until the end. For example, the different software tools that were developed, they can be used during all the phases of the methodology. Also, the stakeholder engagement methodology, the lean project delivery guidelines can be applied throughout the whole process. And also, we have developed space-specific guidelines which can help deploying specific actions or achieving certain goals in the different phases of the methodology. And in the next slides, I will show you the details of each renovation phase that we have identified, starting with the feasibility phase. The feasibility phase was added to the renovation methodology to provide a quick overview of the project at the very beginning, and to check if the StepUP way of renovating buildings is applicable and feasible for the selected building. So this phase includes a very basic data collection and an initial decision on what kind of energy conservation measures would be targeted for renovation. This very first idea of the renovation can help defining if the if the industrialized solutions can be applied to the project or not. And also with this information, high-level energy saving potential analysis can be done, and also project feasibility study as well. So the main output of this phase will be to decide on pursuing the renovation or not. And to support the delivery of this phase, I can show you two examples of tools that we have developed. For example, we have a plug-and-play technology integration checklist, which checks if the technologies are applicable for the selected buildings or not. And also we have a feasibility phase business case tool that helps prepare the feasibility study for the building. The next phase is the preparation phase, where our main goals is to define the different stakeholders related to the project, define the main goals and priorities of the project, and related to these, the data collection requirements, and to initiate the StepUP project platform in this phase. Based on the data collection requirements, the different building geometric data, stakeholder related data, historical energy data, and are collected, which helps to set up the monitoring system and to collect energy monitoring data about the building. And with this, it's possible to prepare a calibrated simulation model, which translates how the building works in its original state. To help this the achievement of the goals of this stage, we can deploy the stakeholder engagement strategy, which includes a guideline how to define different stakeholders and what kind of stakeholder related actions can be carried out throughout all the phases of the methodology. It also supported by the lean project delivery process guidelines, which includes how to set up the initial project schedule, and this tool also follows through all the other phases of the methodology. It will be especially used during the construction process as well, where the timing of the different actions is very important. And also to help with deploying industrialized solutions, data collection guidelines were also developed, and including a technical data collection guideline, which actually helps on what kind of data is needed to be collected for deploying the industrialized solutions, which may be beyond the scope of what a traditional renovation process data collection would include. And after we have analyzed the current state of the building, we are moving on to the design phase of the methodology. The main goal of this phase, of course, is to develop the project design. And this starts by diagnosing the current state of the building, and then define the different scenarios for the renovation, which can be modeled with the calibrated simulation model that was developed in the previous phase, and with the simulation model, the different key performance indicators can be calculated, and the different scenarios can be compared to each other, and after the end of this project, the most suitable renovation scenario can be selected, and which will support the development of the permit design, and then afterwards the more detailed execution design as well. This phase is mostly supported by the lifecycle platform, where the calibrated simulations, model development, and the different scenario modeling can be performed. Also, beyond the energy savings and the carbon savings coming from energy savings, we can also calculate the embodied carbon reduction of or carbon impact of renovations. For this, we developed an LCA guidelines for especially for renovations, and also this design phase. Another example of what kind of tools we developed is the plug and play protocol, which supports the integration of the industrialized solutions and also the third-party solutions into the design. And after we developed the execution design, the project can move on to the construction phase. The main goal of this phase is to conduct the procurement, implement the renovation solutions, and validate the solutions, and then hand over the project to operations. The construction phase is also supported by several tools. One of them is the lean process that I already mentioned. There are different monitoring tools, analysis dashboards that were developed to help analyzing the construction activities, and to control and follow the progress of the work. And also the plug and play technology integration process is also very important in this phase. We have developed different guidelines how to install the plug and play active system and the envelope solution. Also, it's important to set up trainings for the different industrialized technologies, as local installers may not be familiar with the technologies or need so they need guidance on how to install them. And after the handover of the renovation, we can also follow the building performance throughout the operation phase, where we can collect the post-refurbishment data, and with the continuous measurement and verification process, we can optimize the operations and prepare for the next renovation phase, which could where we can deploy new renovation solutions. And of course, this phase is also supported by many of the already mentioned tools and guidelines. And the whole renovation process was developed keeping in mind our objectives that Julia also listed. And we have also specified which tools and guidelines are most suitable for reaching the different targets. We can imagine that that different projects doesn't want to target all of our objectives, but may be interested in one or a few of them. So we specified these different pathways that can help reaching our targets in itself as well. So, for example, to reach the decarbonization goals for a project, the data management lifecycle assessment of a building and the measurement and verification process and the LCA calculations are the most important tools that can be used to achieve these goals. To reduce the performance gap between the design and the real life operations of a building, the data management and data collection tools are the most important, coupled with the stakeholder engagement and especially the stakeholder education strategy as well. And to optimize the renovation investment, the developed financial tools, especially the Smart EPC, can be used. And to minimize the time on site for the construction, the industrialized solutions, and also the lean project delivery guidelines can help the most to achieve these goals. And of course, our overall target to accelerate the renovation market, we think that all the developed tools can support the achievement of this target. So, I hope you you get a good grasp of what the methodology, what the StepUP renovation methodology can help in renovation projects, and several of these tools and the validation method will be presented in later during this day. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Melinda. We will now pass on to the questions and answers session. I just remind the audience, the attendees, that you can put all your questions in the chat box. I have a few questions. We received a few questions. The first one is addressed to Julia. During the StepUP project, you came across probably hurdles and obstacles. So what was the biggest hurdle or obstacle during the StepUP project?
Thank you, Miguel. So StepUP started in August 2019. So COVID was by far the biggest wrench in our plans, and I'm sure everyone in the audience can relate to this. But I think for StepUP specifically, being a project with actual renovation that had to happen in buildings, the lockdowns came at the worst possible time. So it was a major challenge for us to deal with. So if you imagine from the data collection to site visits to even just being able to then be on site and work, we have experienced major barriers, delays, even the production itself was affected. But I think it's something, of course, outside of our will, but compared to everything else, I think that was the biggest issue we had to work with. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I guess that next or besides hurdles and obstacles, the project has gotten to some achievements. So what was the biggest achievement of the StepUP project?
I would say that with so it was an ambitious goal from the start, right? Even before COVID, even before war, even before energy cost crisis and so on, right? And yet here we are concluding the project, delivering it. So the achievement itself has been that we have, through immense challenges and barriers, we have actually really demonstrated and developed these technologies and installed them and test them into real life pilots, successfully working together. We have demonstrated that this can be done. These technologies can be installed. The software can be used. So for me, the work of the project, of the partners, the consortium has been stellar in delivering the project itself. And I think it is also encouraging for renovation as a whole to know that even in these difficulties, these innovation can be delivered. It can be done with a motivated enough team.
Okay, great. Thank you. I have a question for Melinda. You presented the StepUP methodology. So how did you test the usability and validity of the methodology?
So I think we developed quite a robust validity checking method for the methodology. First, we actually deployed 3 different versions of the methodology. The very first one was developed in the beginning of the project to help the kickoff of the pilots. So it was a pilot-focused methodology. And then after the start of the pilot actions and with collecting the different feedback from within the consortium, we developed the first public version of the methodology, which was published now more than 2 years ago. And this was, as I mentioned, it was a public delivery, which where we could collect information from external partners as well. The first version of the methodology was also presented in a conference to gain some insights from the scientific community as well. And of course, the other big feedback collection wave for us was the actual pilot deployment, where we continuously try to collect all the feedback from the different stakeholders, and all of this information that we collected throughout the nearly 5 years of the project was included in the final version of the methodology, which I presented today. And additionally, we also had a set of impact indicators that was designed to help us checking all the way of the project if we are achieving the goals or objectives, and we continuously checked the results or the achievement of our goals with these indicators. And I think these 2 methods helped us in validating the usability of the methodology.
Great, thank you for your extensive reply. I've got another one for you. To whom are you addressing? I mean, who is the main target audience of your StepUP methodology?
Yeah, so at first I think the project owners or developers would be interested in the methodology because they can gain an overview of what kind of what StepUP can offer them throughout all the phases of a project lifetime, and additionally, the more detailed step-by-step method can be used during an actual project development, where the different project teams and the team members can understand the objectives of our project, and what actions need to be taken to actually use the supporting tools optimally.
Okay, thank you. Then I've got a last question. Came in from Jolijn Schorel. Why, and that's for you, Melinda, why did you leave out privately owned single-family homes?
Why did we leave out them? Actually, I think here our thinking was to target those kind of developers and owners who can potentially control a larger building stock, for example, which is where some of our tools are most useful, and also the scale of the supporting tools that we deploy may not be feasible to be used on a very small scale, for example, residential or single family building scales. But this doesn't mean that the methodology cannot be applied to these building types. It only means that we mostly optimize the process for the three building types that we mentioned.
Okay, thank you very much. I run out of questions, so we are a little bit, some 8 minutes ahead of schedule. This is the end of the opening session. We will resume at 10:30 for session 1. Thank you very much to all the attendees, and of course, thank you very much to Melinda and to Julia for your presentations. So we will see each other or hear each other at 10:30.